Hey, it's Ayla, and you are listening to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. Today marks a very special episode, and I'm so excited to present this new series of podcasts to you. From the start on out, I wanted to not only share my vision on business and motherhood and a combination of both, I also wanted to share the success stories of other female entrepreneurs because I feel that sometimes we are missing the point of view, the real point of view from other female entrepreneurs. I think that what we most often see online is a highlight reel of someone else's life. We have role models we look up to, and we see things that we would like to accomplish for ourselves, but it remains a highlight reel. And so I set out to create a series of podcasts with other female entrepreneurs to share their views on business, on motherhood, on the combination of both. How do you run a business most efficiently? How do you combine it with your family life? Any tips and tricks? What routines do you use? And then, of course, each entrepreneur I'm interviewing also has her own modality that she's an expert in. And so this has created a series of podcasts that I'm very proud of. Not only has created, because it's still ongoing. I still have a lot of interviews planned for future episodes. But today finally marks the first one, launching the first one. And we are starting with Nikki Lindgren, who is awesome. She, during, a certain pandemic, she was 6 months pregnant with her third, and she figured, let's start a company because, what a great time. And she started a digital marketing agency, which is female-led. So when our paths crossed, I was very excited to hop on an interview with her. She was the first woman I interviewed. We did this just before Christmas, so it's taken a while for me to actually get to launching the episode. And that's just because I wanted to assemble more interviews so we can make this a series. Fantastic Female Friday. Let's kick it off with Nikki Lindgren. Hi, I'm Ayla, and for over a decade I've been dedicated to helping entrepreneurs thrive. Welcome to the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. Here we focus on personal growth so your business can grow alongside you. Discover how to optimize your business, elevate your mindset, and truly feel and act like a CEO. This is more than just business, it's about transforming your entire entrepreneurial journey. Join me on this path to unlock your fullest potential. Today on the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast, we have Nikki Lindgren with us from Pennock. Nikki, welcome to the show.
Ayla, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, yes, with pleasure. Could you start by telling us a bit about yourself, about your business?
Yeah. So I am Nikki Lindgren. I am from a small town in Minnesota, but I now live in the San Francisco Bay Area. And there's just something about the small town upbringing that really stuck with me as I moved to the cities and suburban areas. So I named my agency after the small town I'm from in Minnesota. So Pennock is a town in Minnesota that I've named my agency after. I work with a small team of women. We have 8 full-time employees here in the United States, and we are doing paid media and SEO for emerging brands in the DTC lane, which is direct to consumer. We specialize in beauty and lifestyle brands that are making about 1 million to 10 million in annual recurring revenue to help them get to their next phase of growth.
Awesome. How small is small when you talk about Pennock? The town, not the company.
Yeah. Yeah. So the town is a little bit bigger than my company. It's probably like 400 people now, but
Oh,
still,
small.
peanuts. And I actually grew up outside of Pennock, about 2 miles away on Lindgren Lake, which is my last name. So my family's like homesteaded in the area since they came to America.
Do you have a Swedish background like your family?
Yes, we're all Swedish and Norwegian. I'm about 50-50.
How cool is that?
I know.
And I imagine, I'm assuming here, but I imagine that when you grew up in Pennock, you didn't get like your career day in high school did probably not include like leading a digital marketing agency.
No.
So what is it? What's your background? What did you do before you started Pennock?
Yeah. So I was in the San Francisco Bay Area when I was coming out of college and I studied marketing and business. So it seemed really fitting to share my love of like fashion and design and marketing. So at the time of coming out of school, the local companies were Levi's, Gap, and Williams Sonoma Pottery Barn, West Elm. I ended up working for Pottery Barn and I kind of fell in love with the interior industry. So my first job, just getting the foot in the door, I was not on the marketing team. I was actually in product development, which I hated. And looking back, I'm like, it was so fun. Like we did such unusual things with our day, but I was like, this is not impactful enough. I need to know the numbers. So I left there and went to another company called World Market, which is also in the lifestyle, like home decor space, and got my first real marketing job. And so from then I was kind of hooked on direct to consumer, on really anyone schlepping goods at that point because I went to an agency and helped entertainment brands sell merchandise for probably like 45, 50 different entertainment brands from everything from like Game of Thrones to the New York Knicks to Grateful Dead and, a handful of other TV shows and artists and sports teams in between. So that kind of like rounded out my love for helping as many brands as I possibly could and e-commerce. So I just kind of continued bouncing around doing that until I eventually got laid off because Bay Area tech work that happened. I was working with a wearable startup and they were downsizing, and I was like 6 months pregnant with my third kid. So I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to work on my own. So I'm going to start a consultancy of Pennock. And then as 2 years went on, I just formed it into a proper agency and brought on full time staff members.
That's a big decision to make when you're 6 months pregnant with your third.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a very supportive husband. And, just sometimes like I like to take leaps of faith. And I think we were just like, what could go wrong? And, worst case, I would go back and find another full time job. And so we just went for it. And I had a lot of support from him. And I still do. He runs all of our technology, he runs our finances, he runs our HR. So he's very involved in the business as a helpful partner in life.
Oh, and that's so lovely. And how is it for you to, sorry, I'm going on a tangent a bit, but that sounds really lovely. How is it for you to work with him as a partner in your business and also as a partner in life?
Well, we have very different work styles, so I can't say it's like, sailing off into a sailboat of like happiness in every moment of the work relationship. I think we're better at kicking each other assignments and giving each other space than sitting down together and having like a meeting or a collaborative conversation about something. So it's been great. I think we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we try to make sure not to ruffle each other's feathers and complain too much
Mm.
about how annoying each other's work style is to us.
Yeah, I get that. My husband and I, we work together as well. So I get what you mean, that sometimes you
Yeah.
just have to sort of work alongside each other instead of maybe in the more cooperative way.
Yes. I mean, I like to pull him in to be like my advisor or like my board member, but sometimes he's just like, we're having dinner with three elementary school kids right now. Like, let's take a break.
Why is it that the business conversations always pop up during dinner? That's
I know. I know. The kids
yeah.
are either really into it or bored out of their minds.
Absolutely. My kids are 5 and 2, so they just don't understand what we're talking about. So they tend to just start talking about other things. And then we get irritated with each other because we couldn't finish what we started about the business. And then we just say, okay, let's cut it here and we'll pick it up again tomorrow, when these two are off to school, because otherwise it's just not going to happen.
Exactly.
There is something about Pennock that is brightly advertised on your website, on all your outlets, and that is that you are a female led company. And as it's something that you are so open about, for lack of a better word, it must be a very conscious choice, I think.
It's interesting because, yes, it's everywhere, but then, like, I actually when I'm pitching or trying to get to know brands, like, it usually actually doesn't come up. So that might be my own disservice to what we're establishing here. marketing, especially here in San Francisco Bay Area, it is like predominantly women, even though, most of business is still probably male oriented. So most of the relationships I had, even when I was hiring a bunch of consultants to help me, were female. So just by nature it worked out. And then when I was hiring full-time staff members, I made a more deliberate choice to do this. My first full-time employee was a woman of color, a single mom who had just gone through cancer treatment and she was in remission. So like a lot going on in there. And she's just like such a fabulous person who could do so well for our clients. And so it was a match made in heaven for us to get to start off with just the two of us. And as the years have followed, yeah, we've had two male team members in the past, and they were also contributing great. And no offense to the other gender by any means, but I think we've just over indexed for paying a little bit more attention to resumes coming through that are female. And most of them are moms. And I think like going into the mom topic too, like we just know how to multitask and juggle and prioritize and like really get down to the meat of what we're trying to do much more quickly when we have so many parts of our life to maintain outside of work.
Totally agree with that. That's maybe why I think women are better at business in general because we can do all that. But you just mentioned that there in the San Francisco Bay Area, there's a lot of women in marketing. Do you think this contributes to them being good at marketing as well?
Yeah, that's a fair question. I mean, I think, if we think back to our like graduating college selves, like marketing is just fun. It's like the best parts of business, in my opinion, right? You get to be creative, you get to be analytical. So there are many reasons in those realms that like drove me personally to do marketing. And, I feel like knowing a lot of social media experts right now and even like publicists, it just tends to be more female oriented industries, I think collectively, even outside of the Bay Area. So um, I don't know that I answered your question, but those are just kind of some follow ups I have about it.
Yeah, no, it answers it absolutely. Do you think, I don't know if you can compare this because you've obviously gravitated towards working with women in your company, but do you think you run your business differently as well than entrepreneurs who have mixed gender teams?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, my work style is very much like direct. And so, I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff, but I'm hopefully not going to be a total a-hole about it either. So my team really understands that about me. And like if they miss that in the interview process, like within the first couple of weeks, they just get it. And I don't know if that's a quality necessarily like that women or lack of quality that women can respond to and adapt to better. But I feel like when we had men on the team, it almost stirred up more drama and more side conversations of gossip and tea. And it might have just been who was on the team then and who those particular men were, but like we just seem a lot less dramatic and just, yeah, again, like kind of cutting through and focusing on what's going to move the needs of the business. And I mean, there's still fun and play in what we're doing, and we're getting to know each other as humans and enjoying time together. But like, we're just a little bit more on a mission to prove that we can grow our clients' business when it's a group of women.
That's true as well. We have something to prove. And I agree with what you say. I think, especially with moms, I think we're very aware of how precious our time is. And that makes us more direct and more to the point and working more efficient because we know we have like a gazillion other things to do as well. So
Yeah.
we might as well get to the point and get it done without all the like blah blah around it. That makes it just easier for everyone to, it makes it clear and we can get it done.
Yes. I had a coach who gave me a really good framework to craft difficult conversations. And you probably have a ton of your own, but it's called the idea model. And each letter stands for the I is intent, D is describe, E is exchange, where the person you're having the conversation with tells you their side of the story. And then that A is action. And I just come back to that for every difficult conversation because I can jump off the deep end and just go like, why something's a problem. But I think setting up the intent framework and that whole idea model has just been like a key to success in my ability to like cut through the noise with my team.
Yeah, absolutely. That's funny. I have a model as well. It's the heart model. I
Hmm.
learned it way back when I was working at Hilton, and it stands for hearing, empathizing, apologizing, reacting, and then the T is actually double, so it's like timeliness for getting back to somebody and thanking them. And it's just really when you keep to a framework like that, when you are working with somebody who is maybe not as happy, like even starting with hearing them, that's like okay, then then you're halfway there.
Right.
It's always good to work with frameworks like that to just sort of keep you
Right.
going.
100%.
Yeah. Um, you obviously love marketing because every time you talk about marketing, you just sort of light up and you just go, "Oh, marketing is so much fun." Tell me a bit about what you're doing for your clients. Any achieved goals you're very proud of, any milestones you hit that you want to toot your horn about?
Yeah. So many. I mean, I run on the operation side of it now. So I feel like maybe my energy towards it and like my enthusiasm towards it is a little different because I just feel like I'm working on process implementation and, time allocation improvements, et cetera. But I think when it comes down to really the work we're doing for clients, when we compare previous years over years, like we have not worked with a client who hasn't grown their business 30% year over year. So like that in itself, like obviously what we're doing, which is in the paid media lane, like running their Meta, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, programmatic ads, and doing SEO for these brands. Like it's just some of them are. Yeah, like we can't say 100% of their growth came from us. That would be silly. But like we like to align ourselves with brands that have figured out the rest of their marketing well enough that we can kind of be on this growth trajectory together. We were just analyzing some of the work we did for SEO this year for one of our clients, and we have been growing their SEO revenue at a rate of like 43% month over month, and not even
Wow.
like compared to the first month. Um, but great of so as much as I'd love to be like full stop. They weren't doing SEO before, so like it's going from a website that existed and the e-commerce business that existed, and really just that from an SEO perspective to now putting some fuel on a fire. So those are just two like micro ideas or topics that have worked well for us. I think beyond that, what I'm hearing overwhelmingly from our clients is that paid media has changed a lot. A lot of the media buying is machine learning now, and it's not as much of a heavy lift from a tactician's perspective to do a good job with like lighting ads and setting up campaigns. So where we've leaned into heavier is the creative briefing and like the creative exploration of what types of ads are actually going to fit with their clients' needs or customers' needs and get those conversions to happen quickly. And we had a brand that left us for a different agency, and in reflection, they were like, we didn't know what we were giving up when we left you because it's so uncommon for agencies to kind of operate the way we had in both creative prowess, but also just acting like a true member of their team and caring about their profitability just as much as their team did. So I think those are the things that I'm really proud of. Other things I'm proud of is we have really groomed our team to be super top notch at what they do. And so we've lost a few of our team members to one particular agency. And it's just great that we've kind of been the stomping ground for them to really become expert to move to a next opportunity, even if it was outside of our agency. And I just feel really proud to have moved these people so far along in their career that they can take such big leaps.
That's amazing. That is something to be proud of.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I saw that your team is you have a virtual team, like you don't sit in an office together.
we don't.
Because right now what you're describing, I think, is a lot of team spirit. Like as a team you're coming together to help your clients grow so much. How is it working for you to do this all virtually?
Yeah, I mean, we started 2 months before the pandemic hit, so I don't have anything to compare it to, like, in the space of this current agency. We're very collaborative on Slack. There's a lot of ad hoc meetings going on, and I think just the support of knowing the group success is every individual success, I think really helps move the needle forward. I mean, we have a channel for, like, help and assistance and a question is asked and, there's usually 8-person teams, so not very many of us to chime in, but like within 30 minutes, someone is jumping in and like helping someone through some situation or struggle they're in. So I just think we're all really supporting each other and trying to make sure everyone is successful and also is efficient at what they're doing. It's one thing to do it, but another thing to do it in a way that opens up your calendar to take on bigger strategic tasks.
I think it's very easy to sort of all fall into small tasks that are slowing you down instead of what you're describing. So well done for setting that up.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of meetings. Like Monday, we basically sync for every client 15 minutes, whoever's involved in that client, back to back meetings where we're like, rapid fire, what's the status of this client? And we just have like daily meeting structures thereafter where we're all getting FaceTime together. So, yeah, very different than going into an office and like hanging out by the coffee maker. But I think we're getting a decent amount of that FaceTime anyway. And I'm working with a group of women who really like to be remote. So that's the other thing is like, it's not the right setup for everyone. I happen to cultivate a group of ladies who really like to be at home.
What did it take you to get into this routine? Because it's a very specific routine that you're describing, where you say you have this on Monday, and then the next days you have this, you have this. I assume that that wasn't when you started out by yourself. That probably wasn't the case. How did it
Yeah.
grow to come this way?
I'd love to say I am so smart and over years I figured it out on my own, but I was part of a mastermind and it's managed by an agency owner himself who grew up in the agency space as well. So a group of like 30 of us in here come together and he had some recommendations. So I think his assumption was everyone would send me like a voice memo on Mondays about the status of their businesses. But for some reason that didn't land as well, even like listening to it. So we just changed and said we're going to have these calls. And so he actually was opposed to it. He's like, that's such a waste of time. That's so much of your time. Don't do that or do it temporarily, but please shift away from it. And we've just, we communicate better verbally than we do in writing or, making the voice memos or video memos. So we've just kept them live.
I love a good mastermind as well.
I've been in this one for like 2.5 years. So I'm definitely hooked on the Kool-Aid he's pushing.
Yeah, I can imagine. My mentor always says a rising tide lifts all ships. And I think that's
Mhm.
exactly what happens in a mastermind. It's just let's all help each other and all grow. That's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right. Tell me about your family. You have 3 kids.
I do. Yes. I've got a fifth grader, a third grader, and a first grader. So they are all super cool people, like very proud that we landed together because they're just super, super great people to be around. And they get along. They really enjoy hanging out together. So I couldn't be more
That's
pleased about
nice.
like the vibes they have and the situations they'll find themselves in. So that's the kid landscape. They play sports. They One is very adventurous. I mean, they're all so different, right? Like, I assumed my second kid would be a carbon copy of the first, and it's
You know,
surprising to learn how different they are.
yeah, I hear you. That was a surprise for me too. It's
Yeah.
like you know what to do, and then the second one comes along, and you just go, "Oh, maybe I don't know what I'm doing anyway. This one is totally different."
Yes. Yeah, I love it though. And I think like just learning how to have the patience, like being present, all of the things you learn as a mom that you then get to remember to apply to work too, and just kind of taking the moments to be is just so important for me. And I think prior to having kids, I was just on the looking for the shortest, quickest path to most prominence and dominance within a greater organization. And I really just flipped this script as the kids were growing up and having more free time and flexibility as a owner of a business has just been nice. Haven't taken full advantage of it. No, I still work, for sure 40-hour weeks, but I know I can go bring them to and from soccer and take them for ice cream if I want to and things like that.
Yeah, you plan around it, you mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. And you already said that your husband is working with you in the business. Is he doing that full time? Is it
Yeah.
both of you on Pennock? He does something else as well?
No, he is a full-time employee at a tech company here in the Bay Area. So he has his 9 to 5 and he's very active on many fronts. He's a treasurer of the PTA and he makes software for some other businesses on the side. So he's got a lot of projects. We're just one of maybe 6 side hustles that he's doing for really for fun.
So then the kids' care, does it fall more into your area or does it fall equally, do you think?
Yeah, that's a fair question. My husband Tyler does all of the scheduling, so sports signups, summer camps, things like that that fall to him. He does all the grocery shopping, and I'm not going to
Mm,
complain about that because I don't
no.
know why. But he loves Costco, and so it's part of his Friday routine. So I'm, more cooking laundry. We split bedtime duty. So there's a lot of split, and then we both have our like focus lanes that don't overlap.
That sounds really good. And what is your golden tip for combining running a business and a family?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably to don't forget to incorporate like fun and play. I think it can just become so serious and so business 24/7. And, sometimes when I'm really stuck in the business, like I almost feel like I don't recognize myself and like my true identity is faded away to the background. And I'm just like focusing on this big problem with the business or opportunity with the business. So I think, it's really taking that moment to be present and to make light of something and be playful. And to me, following simple rules are much easier than overly complicating things. And that's something that took me a long time to learn.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's one of the no, it's the most heard complaints that I get from my clients is that they sort of have forgotten how to have fun, how to be joyful, because ever since they've had kids, they it's just all responsibility. Like the business is responsibility and the kids are responsibility. Everything is responsibility. And they come to me and they say, I've forgotten how to have fun. So I really love that that's the first thing that you said is don't forget fun and play because otherwise it's all gonna be just seriousness.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was sitting with I have a mindset coach like probably 6 months ago, and I was like, I don't even like looking at myself on camera. I don't recognize myself. Like, I don't even know if I like being with myself, And so it's like, yeah, I will fall into the dark hole sometime and feel that way. But I think remembering, yeah, that this is all so short and we should definitely enjoy it, I think is just a good kick in the pants to like get me into the proper mindset again.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a specific trick you have for that? Because that's where I always stumble. I get into it with the kids and then I get annoyed and something happens and I'll just, my lid pops off. And then I just go, okay, I need to remember that they're only this little for such a short time and that I should be enjoying it now and not just get annoyed by them. Do you have any good tips that you've learned with your mindset coach?
I wish I had like a simple, here's the golden nugget, but I think what I'm realizing, especially like I'm almost 42 now, and it took, till I hit 40 to learn some of these things, is like there's not a one size fits all playbook. Like I really was trying to cookie cut and like put the round peg in the square hole of other people's methods of life for so long. And that doesn't work for me. So for me, learning a little bit more about, I don't know if it's like woo woo sort of spirituality, but like my Enneagram number, a little bit about my human design
Mm.
blueprint, things like that. I just really think while they're not scientific and can be quite vague, like it just hit a struck a chord with me and it makes a little bit more sense. So I'm trying to like live in accordance to some of those things more than anything. And it's so overwhelming. Like I have a hard time remembering all the aspects of me, let alone my kids. But my next thing is to look at those same measures for my kids so I can aim to meet them where they are best. But it's a work in progress. Like I don't know that I'll ever nail it. And I might walk away from it or get bored of it before I finish. And that's one of my major downfalls is like I just can't follow through. So for me, like morning journaling, occasionally, I'm not doing it daily. I'll probably do it like every 12th day or something, but just like some level of sort of a semblance of routine really works for me.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I got into the woo woo as well this year, and I've been diving into astrology, which
Yeah.
is I have the same thing as you say. It's not scientifically proven, but somehow it really fits. And so I've been diving into the profiles of my kids as well, and now I can just say that my oldest, she is an Aquarius rising. So she can be just a bit dreamy. And then I just, I try to have a conversation with her, and she's just not at home. She's not there. And I just go, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's her Aquarius side. That's fine." Well, before I would get annoyed because I would be like, I'm talking to you, just pay attention." And now I have more patience with her because I know her astrology. Like, it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense.
I love that. And I think for me, it's one of those things where I can't really talk to my husband about it because he's like, "You're too good. Like, this is just crazy talk." But it works for me.
Same.
So it's kind of like my closet secret in the family. Well, not secret to the kids, but like, yeah, we just don't talk to dad about this stuff. And we're not like too serious about it. But it just, I think again, like going back to the mysticism of it and like the playfulness, like it kind of falls into those buckets. So it's fun for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can have a lot of fun with it if you're not taking it too seriously. You have actually mentioned that a few times as well, having fun with stuff. Do you think that you have taken that from motherhood to entrepreneurship as well? Is that something you take with you into your business?
If any of my team members were on here right now, they would be chuckling because probably not. I'm pretty serious at work. No, I don't think I've like fully incorporated it there. I think that's a huge opportunity for the next step for us. I mean, I'm getting much more personal with my team members and like learning about all of the events in their lives, et cetera. So that feels like we're really making good connection, but I wouldn't say we're having a lot of fun or playful time in the work we're doing. Like we have light meetings on Friday where we're usually playing a game or doing something, but it's 30 minutes of a 40-hour work week, right? So it's definitely a minimal piece of what we're doing with our time.
But it's there. It's a start.
Yeah, we are starting.
Yeah, I think that's good. We both have been working remote for quite a while, and I think that there's a lot of companies out there who don't incorporate any of that at all. So even if it's just a 30-minute thing, I think that's very nice to do it.
Yeah.
Are there any areas where you think that your motherhood, your being a mom, has given you an advantage as an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a good question. Has it given me an advantage? I think the advantages of being a mom in the business place, I think they kind of come down to what we've talked about already, just like a better ability to understand what really matters and not obsess about the little details. Like, I'm not a perfectionist. Would I have told you that a decade ago? I'm probably not. I would have aimed for perfection. But like at this point, it's like, if it's 80%, it's done. Like, go put it out there. And this is for me showing up in the world, us putting out our socials. Of course, for our clients, we're very much 100% mindset. But when it comes to things that we're doing internally or we're doing for our own branding purposes, yeah, like almost perfect is good enough for me. And I'm fine with that. And it doesn't annoy me like it would have a decade ago.
Yeah, I think that's definitely an advantage because I think loads of people are still getting stuck in perfectionism, wanting to get it all 100% right, while that's just slowing you down.
Well, and I would say my husband is an engineer, so he finally broke through to me, but he's always like MVP, minimal viable product, like just get something out and see if anyone cares. And I was with a group of local business women last week, and so many of them are like, well, we haven't published our website yet because we're still tweaking this or that. And it's like, I feel your pain. I've definitely been there, but just get the thing out. Like, we don't know if you're going to have 100 visitors a month or 10,000. Like, let's get it out there into the world and learn from there rather than like perfect every corner of the pixel of the website first.
Absolutely. Done is better than perfect.
With you on that.
Do you have any cool routines that we can learn from? Be it being, private or business doesn't matter, but I'm here for a good routine and maybe you have some.
I am pretty I'm non-committal to any type of routine. So it's hard to say that like that's just it doesn't fit in my in my lifestyle or in my personality right now. But like this week, we're about to head out on a vacation. And so I've just been trying to get into better athletic shape because I'm about to windsurf for 15 days. I'm like, okay, I'm going to work out every morning this week. So like I'll go on little spurts where I'll aim to do something in a little bit more form that I did before. And that's my kick right now. My kids have to read for school like 30 minutes every night. I started reading with them, so it's not, and I hate reading. I've got a couple
Oh,
books behind me, like that's literally the book stack I've got at this moment in time. But I started reading with them because I'm like, I want to read more business books. And I think as their mom, like forcing them to read, I should probably lead by example and be there sitting with them. So there's a couple of little things like that that I'll incorporate. And if they stick, they become part of what I do. But generally, I'm not a routine person.
I love the reading. That's really clever because I always struggle to get my business reading in as well because for calming down it would be fiction, not business, and
Mhm.
then I just go, but I want to read more business books as well. So I love that you combined that with your kids reading.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe, as you mentioned earlier, that maybe like a morning journal every other week
Mhm.
um, could still count as a routine. It's if it keeps coming back from time to time.
That's true. I mean, I've got my foot on a couple of routines, but I'm not like fully committed to them. And I think that's sort of the lifestyle I live in. Like I'm always looking for different business ideas and like maybe purchasing this or that organization to increase the size of my business. So like I'm a dabbler. I like to experiment and I'm not super committed.
What's your human design profile?
I'm a 3-1. I would have to like pull it up to tell you more. I'm a manifesting generator.
Yeah, I figured. I have the same. It's all about starting things. Like, yeah, get the new ideas. Let's get it rolling, and then maybe not finish all the way through with it.
100%. Yep.
Yeah. When you look at your business and you look what you're doing it for your family, did you ever have one of those really nice aha moments where you just figured, yes, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing?
Interesting. I don't know that I've taken a moment to reflect that way. I mean, my oldest son, who's in 5th grade, thinks it's really cool. Like, he's very proud of the fact that I have my own business and I employ people, and he thinks a lot about, who's on the team and what role they have in relationship to me, so he seems to be into it that way. My middle son is all about like philanthropy and like purpose. And so like he's like, Mom, I wish our trunk would fly open one day when we're driving and we just had like dollar bills in it because more people need money. And like, not that we have
Oh,
money
that's
to
so
be giving out
sweet.
necessarily, but like he's very much like let's pick people up. And so I think the aha moment would be having created something that does that for a small group of people who I employ. And then hopefully a byproduct of the work we're doing for clients is they're able to grow their businesses too. But, that's just like thinking here on the fly of like the aha moment that it might connect to what my kids are thinking about us or my work and what my kids are interested in as individuals.
Yeah. Oh, it's so lovely that he's all about your middle son, that he's all
Yeah.
about like sharing the resources with everyone. That's so cute.
He just learned about Drake's music video, God's Plan, where he's like basically giving out money in the video. And it's like his favorite thing to watch now.
That's so sweet.
He's a cute guy.
Yeah. Yeah. It must be really nice to have them look at your business that way, like either being involved with the team or being involved with, basically what you can accomplish further down the line. Is there a thing that you've learned from your kids that you can apply in your business?
Yeah, what have I learned from my kids that I could apply? Well, some negatives, right? Like my kids, when we're mad at each other, we both have very short tempers. I'm definitely in some ways when problems come up at work, I am missing the big picture and stuff. So there's some negatives that definitely come into the way I operate and the way my kids operate back to me in some instances. I do think though my topic of like play and incorporating fun is 100% driven by the kids. Like, again, looking back at my earlier self, I didn't have kids when I was 30. So that's a good time frame to think through. Um, yeah, I don't think like I didn't need to personally get to know anyone I worked with. And I was working in an office at that point. Like I was just so business all the time. I came there to work. My bestie at work, sure, we could go have coffee, but I wasn't trying to get to know anybody else. I was trying to like move up the ladder and play and having fun at work was not part of the equation. So I think I definitely got that from them. And, I think like we now, instead of holiday gifts for our clients, we have a give back. So we usually donate to a social cause or an environmental cause. And,
That's
I think that
lovely.
goes, my middle kid's name is Dash. And I think it's maybe like a little bit of a Dashism in me where I'm trying to do good by him, I guess. So that could be another thing. So there are little moments of it, but I can't say like definitively this one thing was a byproduct of my kids, but I'm probably too close to it to really even notice.
That's a fair point. You've given me goosebumps with the dashism. That's really a nice thing to incorporate sort of his way of thinking into giving back to the world.
Yeah, it's a unique
All
being.
right, Nikki, I want to be mindful of your time. So I want to wrap it up a bit. Where can people find you? Where can people connect with you the best?
Yeah, so I do not have the biggest presence as an individual on social media. So I would say the best way to get in touch with me is probably on finding details on my website. So our business website is pennock.co, pennock.co. On there, you can find all of our socials and like links to contact me. That's probably the best place to direct people to.
Is it a conscious choice that you don't have such much of a social presence as an individual?
Slightly, but I think I'm also kind of too like lazy and disorganized to do a good job on it. So I feel like it's just it wouldn't while I told you I'm like 80% is good enough in my book of completed for me as an individual, like I don't even know that I could get it to 80%. So I'm just choosing to be a little silent personally. That might change as the years progress and me as the face of the agency, I might need to have my own social presence, but for the time being, it's all wrapped into the business.
Oh, that's perfect. All
Yeah.
right, fun little last question to close it off. If tomorrow you had an unexpected day, free of all responsibilities as a mom, as a business owner, what would you be doing?
Man, that gave me goosebumps to just kind of think about the opportunity. I think I would be doing some like soul searching journaling around like, what I'm trying to like bring into the next 12-month time frame in terms of work opportunity and personal opportunity. There are some guys out there, people out there who talk about this thing called the big ass calendar, where you basically have a giant calendar and you make sure to plan out all of your days and that every quarter has like a fun new activity that you would have never normally done. So I think I'd spend a good chunk of the day just like planning that out because I don't know if I have those quarterly like cool random things I did that I should be proud of when the year comes to an end. So I think I'd want to spend some time setting myself up for success there. And then I love getting out in nature. So I'd probably go on a hike or go into the woods somewhere and just hang for a bit. Like I really recharge when I'm out in the wilderness.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. I'd say you take a day off and do it.
I mean, it sounds like a great day tomorrow for me. I love
Yeah,
the idea.
exactly. Yeah. All right, Nikki, thank you so much for your time.
I love this has been great. I appreciate you having me on the show so much. Wonderful conversation with you today, like all the topics you brought to the table. And you got me thinking about things that I had not reflected on before. So I'm excited to come up with like, better ideas and answers for how my kids are playing a role in how I'm developing the company and what I'm learning from them to apply, et cetera.
Oh, that's beautiful. We get the ship going. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Female Entrepreneurs Network podcast. I hope you loved what you heard today. And if you did, it would mean a world to me if you could leave a review. Because believe it or not, reviews on podcasts are actually still used to make sure more people get to see this podcast in their screens and maybe click on it and learn something as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.